Welcome back, everyone. This video is going to discuss today's entrance ticket questions and answers, so please pay close attention so you know how to complete the assignment accurately. You may also pause and rewind this video as needed if I am moving at too fast of a pace. Alright, so starting off, our first slide, we are looking at the definition of one-point perspective. This might be a good place to pause the video if you need to write down this definition. One-point perspective is a drawing method that shows how things appear to get smaller as they get further away, converging towards a single vanishing point on the horizon line. Now that is a very wordy definition. There's a lot to that. We're going to break that down in just a little bit, but that is the definition that I want you all to write down, the definition I want you to submit for your entrance ticket, and it's also the answer that's going to appear on your learning log on the final day of the unit. So down here, I'm going to jump to the next slide that's going to break down this picture a little bit more. So this picture is actually by the artist Raphael. It's called the School of Athens. This was created between the years of 1509 and 1511. So this is roughly, like 600, 500 years ago, something like that. So this is a very old painting just to demonstrate how long this technique has been in use. And on the far left here, you can see the picture as it exists on its own, but then when you incorporate the features of linear perspective, you can see the breakdown of this image up here. Where my mouse is gliding along the middle of the paper, that center line is called the horizon line. We're going to learn more about that in the lesson demonstration. And this one little dot in the middle is called the vanishing point. And essentially all of the lines and angles are going right towards that point, which if you notice the space of my hands are getting smaller and smaller as my hands get closer together. It literally forces the spaces to get tighter and smaller as they go back, which ultimately creates a sense of depth to make everything look more realistic, because that's how we would perceive it in real life. And then I have a second demonstration, second example. Here we have the artist Leonardo Da Vinci. This artwork at the bottom here is called The Last Supper. It was made between 1495 and 1498 during the Italian Renaissance. And again, this is the image, the standalone image on its own, but if you break down the underdrawing and the factor in the rules of linear perspective, you can see the guidelines here. Again, we have a horizon line down the middle of the paper where my mouse is gliding, and then the vanishing point is right in the center here behind the center figure's head. And again, you can see how all the lines and angles are angling right back to that vanishing point. If I just look at this center window or tapestry, I'm not quite sure what this is, the height between the bottom and the top of the floor is a larger distance or higher and taller than this tapestry or window here, because again, as things get further back in the distance, they get smaller and smaller, which is essentially what linear perspective does. It creates that sense of depth. All right, now to answer the second question for your entrance ticket, this second question is, how does one-point perspective create a realistic space? Now, I've already discussed this in the last two slides. The key word here is depth, D-E-P-T-H. We're going to learn more about that word in the coming days. But depth is the distance from near to far. So in real life, if you were to walk outside, the things that are closest to you are largest and the things that are furthest away are smaller. So if I'm standing in front of you, you're going to see I would be taking up, the majority of your field of vision. But if I was 100 yards back in the field, I would be very small in your range of vision compared to everything else because I'm further back. So in real life, just like when things are further away, they're smaller, and largest from the closer up, that's what linear perspective does, is it forces everything that's closest up to be largest and the things in the back to be smallest, to give you that realistic perspective of depth and also a three-dimensionality to make the object look three-dimensional, like you can actually grab it and touch it, as opposed to being flat on the paper and being two-dimensional. So one-point perspective is basically creating an illusion on your flat surface of your paper to make it look like you can enter the space, to make it look like a space you would see in everyday life. So that is how one-point perspective creates a realistic space. And just to sum that up, the horizon line and vanishing point ultimately force the lines to get smaller as they go back, creates a sense of depth, and just allows us to see the artwork like we would see that space in everyday life. All right, that is it. That's everything for this video. Please make sure at the end of this video you complete your entrance ticket. Answer both questions, not just the one. It's also helpful to submit both answers in the same submission and Schoology If you already submitted them separately, it's okay. It's just, a helpful hint, makes it easier for me to grade, and ultimately I would think it would be easiest for you as well. All right, so complete your entrance ticket, and when you're done submitting your entrance ticket, please watch the demonstration video, which is very, very important. Please watch the whole thing carefully and soak up all the information so you know how to proceed in the coming days so you can complete your project with accuracy and get the best grade possible. All right, guys, we'll see you soon for the demo. All right, bye.